Brian, you've just said to Jake as he's left the press conference, well done, good hit out.
Yeah.
Is that your overall thoughts on the performance today?
Yeah, I'm really pleased with some of it as always, and there's bits to work on, as most teams are. It's December, it's late December, so it's important that some of the principles that we've done in our block one of training were shown, and they were in abundance. And but we've still got plenty to do, and I was thrilled with the effort areas in which we worked in today.
The conditions, the winds didn't really help. It was a bit of a disjointed game at times. Are you ultimately pleased with what you're taking away from that win over Keighley?
I think the first 20 minutes was probably where we'd like to be. If anybody's looking for an 80-minute performance, I thought physically we were really good. I thought some of the connectivity and the pressure we put on Keighley at the start of the game was great. But I'm not one to get carried away on the 22nd of December. I think I really am pleased with some of the effort areas and some of the principles, and then at the end some of the young kids coming on showing bits and bobs what they've got. So the main thing was we got out of it injury free, and with people to add to the team as well. I think it just augurs well for the future.
Jake Webster's, they said he's lost Brandon Pickersgill and Josh Lynham to dislocated fingers and arms. That must be a real positive, Brian, especially earlier on in the week when we referenced, you know, the injuries in pre-season last year. That game one's done and dusted, and it's a green tick, clean bill of health.
That's all you can ask for in a season if you want to. If you have a strategy for the season, the small technicalities and technical bits are that you've got to have a bit of luck and a bit of good management on all the other things. We came out injury free. I'm disappointed for Keighley that they've picked up a couple, because I know that they've got a small squad, but looking at ourselves, we're out without any blemish. We've got a lot of enthusiastic people and enthusiastic people to come into the team as well. And as I say at the start, I thought we looked really, really physically dominant and technically dominant too. So yeah, there's still lots to work on, but yeah, we got out of it okay, which I'm thrilled about.
You mentioned being physically dominant. I think I counted it was 25th. It was the 25th or 26th minute before Keighley had an actual play the ball in Bradford's 20-metre line. That was a real strong defensive performance with a lot of intensity in game one. How does that please you?
Very much so, but you're going to have to play a good defence to get in the team. So it's one of our mantras. I've said myself and Greeny, and Keith's coming up to speed with it. Chris Huff has been working with the kickers, and I thought we kicked the ball particularly well today as well in the main. I thought a lot of high note finishes from our kicks and the end to sets, and then we went through periods where we gave a lot of penalties away when a little bit of fatigue kicked in, and we didn't finish sets as well. So there's some lessons there. So it's really important to keep both our feet on the ground, and the coaching staff keep their feet on the ground. We've still got lots to do, but if we keep maintaining the same willingness to improve, and we've heard that from the players after the game, then it can only all go well for us.
That defensive intensity, though, it does set a better benchmark, Brian. I know it's only pre-season and you're not looking at the scoreboard, but to keep your opponents to zero must be pleasing.
Well, it's particularly good because we haven't done any contact as such, getting up and down off the ground. Clearly we've done some bits and bobs indoors, but it's not like playing a game of rugby league. It's, so you have to go through that process to get that. And I think it's a great start for us. I think some people have shown their intent in that respect, and we still have some people that need to get up to speed, whether late returners or things like that. But yeah, lots of good signs. It's a positive day out for us for sure.
Thoughts on young George Rayner's performance? A real impressive display, I thought, at fullback.
Yeah, very much so. We had 6 out there, didn't we? Jamie Gill, Sam Ackroyd, and Bateman. Alfie Leake, I thought, was outstanding when he came on. George Rayner was probably the headliner. I thought he did really, really well. There's another young fella that I'm missing out there.
Mason Corbett?
Yeah, Mason Corbett, yeah. Showed why we've taken him out of Leeds. And so, yeah, when they came on, it took them a little bit of a while, 5 minutes to get up to speed, the different speed, because, they're a top League One team at Keighley, and they'll be hoping to push for a very, very top, and that's different standard to what they've been playing, so it was pleasing.
I know Keighley had that injury adversity and they had to, players play extra minutes, but How pleased are you, Brian, with that sort of last 20 minutes after the hour mark where you take James Meadows, Joe Keys, Jayden Ockenbaugh, George Tafua off, and those young homegrown players have put in that impressive display and come up with a couple of tries and 12 points?
Well, Keithley did the same, I think. I think it was pretty even Stevens, but the carry from Jamie Gill and the carry from Alfie Leake for a try, and so they're headline moments in a young player's career, and they should remember those kind of things. It's important that they've been training with the first team, and if they continue their progression, then they're a chance like anybody else. But those decisions are down to them as young men, and I'm hopeful they make the right decisions.
In that first half, Ronan Michael very nearly scored a very eye-catching headline try. When you look back at tackle one to Ronan not being able to get the ball on the line, you'll be pleased with the structure and the shape.
I think we've still lots to do. Greeny loves his offensive shapes, and we always have a fencing match over that one, and I still think we've got lots to do there, execution wise, but gosh, it's the 22nd of December, so nobody should be getting carried away. I think we've got lots and lots of improvement in us. The players think that as well, which is the important aspect of talking to you today. And I think we've shown in small spats today, if you like, some of the things that we want to do and what we want to be better at.
Under Eamon O'Carroll, discipline was a bit of an issue. You've seen today, Brian, as you've said, when a bit of tiredness, fatigue creeps in. I think the penalty count was 9-7 or somewhat similar to that in Bradford's favour, but you're clearly not happy with some of those penalties that you're
Well, some of them today, dissimilar to last year, I think were an element of fatigue on their first hit out. I thought we kicked the ball really, really well today, really well, and then we came up with a couple of bloopers on what you'll describe as discipline. I think it was fatigue. I think a lot of players come back at different times, first hit out, so I'll give them that little rider for now. But clearly we want to play the game the way we did in the first 20 minutes of this game. And I thought we showed some really good signs with all of the names that you mentioned.
What are your impressions on now you've seen James Meadows, Joe Keys in the house for the first time?
No different to what I thought they'd offer us when we signed them. Again, there'll be small aspects of their game that they'll want to do better. I thought, with the conditions, I think both teams looked really well. But I thought at times we had really good offensive shape. Did we take the wrong decision sometimes? Yeah, of course we did. But I thought there was, for a 22nd of December hit out after a 5-week block, I couldn't be more satisfied.
No secret, a lot of emphasis on Bradford's pack, but when you look at Eben Sker, Franklin Pelly, Elliot Papoche, late on Jamie Gill, there's some big forwards there, Brian, who can cause a lot of destruction on the field.
I thought our outside backs were great as well. I thought Warner showed what he's all about. I think, Jayden Ockenbaugh carries the ball as strong as he does. George Tafua, Liam Tyndall, who's on trial with us at the moment, added I thought to our, and you mentioned the headliner because he's a young kid, George Rayner, didn't look out of place and did some really good things. He was very safe under the high ball. Clearly the halves are getting to know each other and work together, which they're doing really well. But I thought that the overriding principle for me, I thought the first 20 minutes we were really good. Really good, and we kicked the ball really well in the main for the game. Yeah, there were some bits and bobs when we had an element of fatigue in our game, i.e. some discipline, i.e. some low note finishes that we didn't aim for. But honestly, the biggest positive out of today is that we didn't pick any busted up.
Just on the goal kicking, Sam Aykroyd, Joe Keys, James Meadows have all attempted conversions. What's your thoughts on that? Have you decided who is the goal kicker for season 25, or is that still open?
Well, goal kicking is really important, particularly when you play the big teams. And I'm not going to lose any sleep over goal kicking tonight. I think we've got 3 or 4 goal kickers. We just need to get one of them functioning properly.
Certainly, Jordan Lilly, obviously, he was...
Well, he wasn't on the field today, Nick. I don't know if you noticed.
No.
He couldn't have kicked a goal today.
I was just going to say Jordan Lilly from last season. I think he was kicking at about 80% in the end. So
you need a kicker. You need a kicker that kicks a high percentage in goal kicks. Any team does that. But what we've got is particularly this year, Chris Hough working on our kicking game because he's an exceptional kicker of the ball, and I think once we get a bit of practice in that department, we'll have a good kicker.
Kieran Gill didn't start. He did the second half. Can we read anything into that at all? Or?
Not really. You can only start as many as you can start, and I think Kieran was late back to full training. He's only been back in full training for a week, so as much as protection as anything else.
And just finally from me, Brian, obviously there is this sort of fortnight now where you get a rest, but obviously the hard work continues leading into the next game against Dewsbury. What does that sort of next fortnight look like in terms of the clubs and the players? Because I presume they will get a little bit of a Christmas break.
They will get. We're in tomorrow. We're going to do some recovery and swim and all of those kind of things, and talk about what we've achieved in our first block. We've been back 5 weeks, and Green's put together a thorough and demanding first block. We'll be planning the next block, which will be as thorough and as demanding because we're getting close to kick-off time and when all the games, the win and losses count, if you like. So the players need to recognise that they will get time off over Christmas because I think it goes right to the middle of October, this silly competition. This summer competition that we're in starts in the middle of December and goes to October. So I think we need to recognise that. I'm not averse to giving players time off, so they get a week off at Christmas. They deserve it for what they've been through, but at the back of their minds they'll be jumping into something that's just as intense and vigorous when they come back.
If you had to give that overall performance marks out of 10, Brian, what would you give it?
Well, because it's the 22nd of December, I'd probably go up there 8 and 9,
Okay.
especially some young kids in there.
Yeah.
And I really was thrilled with the way we kicked the ball, and I was thrilled with our first 20 minutes. I thought there were some things, contact-wise, that are remnants of some of the things we were doing when we were on top of our game last year, which is really pleasing because I can only reinforce we haven't done any contact, and to see that kind of commitment level and technical ability was really pleasing.
You said in pre-match you wanted the team to gel even more than the result. How do you think that worked, that gellingness, that's the word?
Yeah, I think they like each other. I'm just putting it in simple terms, in human language. I think there's a willingness for them to work for each other, and more importantly, that there's a willingness to understand how they need to make each other accountable. To make this team work. The connectivity, if you like, I think they're getting really well connected with, as I said, with 6-7 players that are as well as connected, being in the mix, and we've done lots at this club. There's still lots to do, and we understand the pressures of the coming season. But yeah, I really enjoyed today. For the start, just as a start.
In tight matches, that can make a difference, can't it?
You'd like to think so, yeah.
It's really difficult to pick a man of the match when you've got so many players coming and going and hardly anybody completes the full 80 minutes.
Yeah.
I was going to go for George Rayner before you said anything for what he did, certainly in the first half. How many minutes did he actually play? I didn't really sort of
I think he
notice.
did. Well, he stayed on for the full 80. He went on to
Was
the
it
win.
full
Yeah,
80?
yeah. So
I
we
wasn't
switched him.
100% sure.
Yeah, we switched him out to the. I think there were a few that did 80. Tingle did 80. I think he did 80. Because we were.
That was the
we were
problem. We
skipping
had
outside
5
backs.
players, I think, without any numbers on, and never
Yeah.
having seen most
Yeah.
of them before. I wasn't sure who
Yeah,
the
George
sensible was.
he deserves a mention, George Rayner,
Yeah.
because we plucked him out, gave him a chance. From
What's his background? He's come through the Bradford Academy, is he?
Yeah,
Yeah. So he's still a teenager, or?
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think they're all team. Jamie Gill, Alfie Leake's only 17 who came on and showed his prowess. I think Sam Ackroyd's a little bit older, but you don't genuinely find. They've been training with the first team, but you don't find out about players until they play. And I don't think any of them have taken a backward step today.